Hey, welcome back. Today I got an unboxing. New headlights for the Road King. Let's get into it. So I'll start with these here. I got these on Amazon, not paid for or anything. I bought these. And I went with this design, just kind of a updated design, but what really sold me on these were the reviews. The reviews on these were pretty dang good. Lots of pictures and videos, so I hope they live up to the hype. They do offer these in a amber, but I could not find a set with the amber headlight and the amber driving lights, which is what I would have went for, but I couldn't find it. So I went ahead and just went with the white on these. The packaging is pretty dang good. You can see we got some instructions here. Pretty cool. It's got a Road King on there already, so that's any indication that they'll fit. And these are really tough to get out of here. But here's your 7-inch headlight, protective film on it. Your plug, this extra wire here for your daytime running light. It lights up this amber middle piece there. Metal here. This outer ring is plastic, but I'm hoping to reuse the visor style ring that I've got on there now. Here's the driving lights. Also got the protective film on there. They also have a driving light, which I think lights up this X pattern around the light here. It has this waterproof plug, but I did see a hack online of how to get this wired into the original wiring on the bike. So we'll try that on these. Then you've got a little bit of extra wire here. Different plugs for different years of bikes. 2019, this fits an array of different bikes, touring and softail. A couple Allen keys. Yeah, this is nice. This looks really nice. Alright, so I've got this headlight out of the box, and a couple things I wanted to point out. I took these Allen screws out of these holes, and then this decorative ring kind of comes off. This is plastic. And then it reveals this ring that just bolts up to the nacelle of the bike there. And then on either side it's got these mounting screws. This back one is slotted, so when you get it on the bike you can move it, adjust it up and down. And then I got to looking, and if you look, it's got this honeycomb design here, and it's got these Allen screws that are all the way around. And I thought for sure that those were probably a decorative plastic piece or what have you. But I decided to try to take one out, and they are metal, and they go into the metal housing of the headlight. And then this plastic decorative honeycomb piece actually comes out of there. So if you wanted to take that out, the only thing I was thinking about is this plastic in front of this lens just getting so packed full of bugs it's kind of a nightmare to clean. So I think I'm going to run with them on there for now, but it's easy enough to take out down the road if it turns out to be a nightmare. Anyway, I'll get the old headlights out and we'll see how this fits and works. Alright, I got some updates. I test fit lot of this stuff, and there's a couple things I'm going to need to do to make these fit my particular bike. A couple things I wanted to note here. This is the passing lamps, driving lamps, what have you. One thing is that these are considerably chunkier in the back. They're not necessarily deeper, but they're definitely chunkier. So to fit this big plug and the plug that's on the bike all inside that little housing there, it's quite the task, but it does fit. It does fit. I will just have to change this plug to match the plug that's on the bike, get it wired up. Another thing that I thought was pretty cool is it's got this notch, just like on your factory ones. That way your alignment ring, clicks in there. Your alignment tab here on the bottom that goes into the housing on your bike. That way this thing stays, and it's easy to get it perfectly lined up. That way your beam pattern is nice and straight, not cockeyed and crooked. So that's pretty cool. So we'll set the passing lamp stuff aside for now. Moving on to the headlight fitment. No fault of the light itself. However, I do have an issue, and I'll go show you that now. When I took this all apart, I noticed that the plug is melted. Like I said, no fault of the light, of course, but I'll have to get that replaced before I continue on here and get this thing actually mounted up, because it would really suck to lose your headlight in the middle of the night because you lost connection there. So I'll have to get that fixed before I get this headlight put in. One other thing that I wanted to point out on the headlight here is you can see there's your alignment to get your headlight aligned. However, when you put it on the bike, it disappears. It goes back in the nacelle. So it's kind of going to be a pain to get this thing aligned where I want it, because like the old headlight, it had adjustment screws left and top so you could adjust it without taking it out. This one, I guess you'll just have to get those kind of snug so you can move it, get it mounted up, move it where you want it, and then remove it and tighten them down. That's one thing that kind of sucks that I've noticed so far. Other than that, all these well nuts, everything lines up perfectly. This is just going to be bolted square away and we'll be ready to rock. Alright, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice one of these extra harnesses that came with the lights here. I'm going to use this unburnt plug and splice it into the bike so I can plug it into the headlight here, because they do fit. I will just have to heat shrink, electrical tape this so I don't get any moisture in there, but that should work. Alright, I've got my new plug spliced in here. Nothing is heat shrunk or anything yet. I just matched up the color codes, and you'll see with me real time if it works. Ready? Oh yeah. That's the high beam. Let's see if the low beam works. Oh, sorry about that. That's the low beam. So low beam on the bottom, high beam on the top. Works perfect. I'll get this all tidied up and put in. We'll see what she's like. Okay, so we're making some progress here. What I actually ended up doing was just depinning the old plug that came on the bike and sticking those pins back inside the plug that came with the passing lamps. So that was pretty easy. So I think we'll get these buttoned up, put back together, and see what it's looking like. So if you're curious about what I'm talking about depinning these plugs, this is the plug that needs to go into the headlight or into the passing lamp. You can see it's got a clip there that holds it on the front side. But this is the type of plug that came on the Road King, and while they do work, the two clips are on either end of the plug here. So I just need to take the old style plug off and pin in the new style plug so I can get this plugged in. So the way I do it, it's probably the wrong way. Just get a pair of pliers. There's usually some type of a locking mechanism on the back of these plugs. We just get that pulled off. There it goes flying across the room. And then what I do is in the front side of the plug, there's little holes, and you stick something, I use an Allen key, stick something small inside there, and what it does is it pushes a piece of metal out of its slot, and then you can go ahead and pull your wire back out. Make sure it's seated all the way in there. Try not to damage your wire. Then you can see your plug comes out of the connector. I'm gonna drop my Allen key. So we'll do the same thing for the other wire. Luckily there's only two on these plugs, so they're pretty easy. Alright, so there's the old wire, or I guess the new wire, out of the new plug. Now all we need to do is take the old plug off the bike and put those wires into this plug, and we'll be good to go. Alright, well, we got the passing lamps all wired in, got the headlight wired in with the new plug, and I think it looks pretty cool. The couple fitment issues that I wanted to go over is with this plastic trim ring that came on it. You can see there's a pretty decent gap around the nacelle. It won't go back any further than that. So what I was thinking about doing was actually taking this off, and I wanted to see if I could run the visor style ring that I had on there. And it will fits over the light. However, top and bottom here, it makes contact with the light itself. So in order to get that to work, a guy would have to trim metal away from the visor for it to fit back in there. So what I think I'm gonna do for now is I'm just gonna stick with this plastic ring until I get the cojones to try to chop up that other visor style ring. But there she is. Let me know what you guys think. I think it looks kind of badass. The light, I have pulled this out, and I'll post at the end of the video comparison between the old lights and these are really, really bright. Unfortunately, it is in the 30s here in the Dakotas, so I won't be able to test them out on the highway that often, but if I do, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.